Sigmund Freud was born on May 6, 1856, in a small town in Austria. Sigmund was the eldest child of Jacob Freud, a Jewish wool merchant, and his wife, Amelia Freud. Sigmund had 2 older half-brothers and 6 younger siblings. When he was around the age of 4, the family moved to Vienna, where he lived and worked for most of his life. At this period in time, medicine and law were the only professions available to Jewish men. In 1873, Freud entered the University of Vienna Medical School. He received his medical degree in 1881. He then opened a private practice with a specialty in nervous disorders. He was engaged to Martha Bernays the following year. They got married in 1886. His marriage produced 6 children. The youngest, Anna, became a distinguished psychoanalyst herself. Early in his career, Sigmund Freud became very interested in and influenced by the work of his friend Joseph Breuer. Breuer had discovered that when he encouraged a patient suffering from hysteria to talk about their symptoms, those symptoms would be reduced or even disappear. Freud theorized that neurosis, a personality disorder characterized with feelings of anxiety, obsessional thoughts, and compulsive acts, originate from traumatic experiences that had occurred in the patient's past. Freud tried hypnotism with his hysteric and neurotic patients. He noticed instead that he could get his patients to talk just by putting them on a relaxing couch and encouraging them to say whatever came into their heads. This became known as free association. He then analyzed what his patients said, and he determined what traumatic events had caused their problem. Freud called his treatment techniques psychoanalysis. Freud's most famous theory is his theory of personality, which he published in 1923. He believed that personality is based on the conflict between our aggressive, pleasure-seeking desires and our internalized social controls over these desires, as well as the efforts to express these desires in ways that bring satisfaction without also bringing guilt or punishment. He proposed the idea of the id, ego, and superego. The id is that unconscious psychic energy that strives to satisfy basic sexual and aggressive drives. The id operates on the pleasure principle, demanding immediate gratification. The ego is the largely conscious executive part of the personality that serves as the mediator among the demands of the id, the superego, and reality. The ego operates on the reality principle, satisfying the id's desires in ways that will realistically bring pleasure rather than pain. The superego is the part of personality that represents internalized ideals and provides standards for judgment, also known as the conscience. Freud had a belief that the mind was mostly hidden. Like an iceberg floating in the water, the part of the iceberg that floats above the surface was our conscious awareness. The part of the iceberg that lies underneath the surface is the unconscious, a collection made up of mostly unacceptable thoughts, wishes, feelings, and memories. This is the processing of information that we are unaware of. In between the conscious and unconscious is the preconscious, where some of our thoughts are stored. These are the thoughts that we can retrieve into awareness. Freud's main focus was the unconscious, the mass of unacceptable passions and thoughts we block from awareness. According to Freud, our unconscious influences us without us noticing it, whether it be in the work we choose, the beliefs we hold, or our daily habits. For Freud, nothing was ever accidental. He believed that people give off clues of how their unconscious works, not only by free association, their beliefs and their habits, but also their slips of tongue and pen. He gave the following example of a financially stressed patient who, not wanting any large pills, said, "Please do not give me any large bills because I cannot swallow them." Freud also viewed jokes as expressions of blocked sexual and aggressive tendencies. To him, dreams were the royal road to the unconscious and the key to understanding our inner conflicts. You might ask, why do we dream? According to Freud, we dream to satisfy our own wishes. Freud believes that dreams have two contents: the manifest content, which is the remembered storyline of the dream, which serves as an expression of the dreamer's unconscious wishes, and the latent content, the hidden content or meaning of a dream. For instance, if you had a dream about elephants chasing you, the manifest content would be you remembering that you were being chased by elephants. However, the latent content may have a different meaning for you and me. Freud called the process whereby the underlying wish of the dreamer is translated into what we remember of dreams as dream work. The purpose of dream work is to transform the dreamer's wish into a non-threatening form, which reduces anxiety and allows the dreamers who continue sleeping. The psychoanalysis of dreams involves the translation of the manifest content into the truthful, latent meaning. According to Freud, understanding the different stages of dream work helps with the understanding of the true meaning of dreams. First, the process of condensation. This is the joining of two or more ideas or images into one. For example, a dream about a house might be worries about security, as well as worries about one's appearance to the rest of the world. Second, displacement. This is when we transform the person or object we are really concerned about into someone else. For example, one of Freud's patients was extremely resentful of his sister-in-law and used to refer to her as a dog. He dreamed of strangling a small white dog. Freud interpreted this as representing his wish to kill his sister-in-law. But if the patient would have really dreamt of killing his sister-in-law, he would have felt guilty. The unconscious mind transformed her into a dog to protect him. Third is secondary elaboration. It is when the unconscious mind binds together wish-fulfilling images in a logical order of events and hiding the underlying meaning of the dream. Later in his work with dreaming, Freud thought of the possibility of universal symbols in dreams. Most of these symbols were sexual in nature, including poles, guns, and swords representing the penis, and the horse riding and dancing representing sexual intercourse. However, Freud later stated that these general symbols are more personal than universal. It all depends on the dreamer's circumstances. Although Freud had some very controversial ideas and theories, he has become a very notable psychologist. His theories attracted many followers, but not all of Freud's ideas were accepted. The basic ideas accepted were his theory of personality, which I have already introduced, and the importance of the unconscious. Others, such as the theory of dynamics of anxiety and the defense mechanisms. Freud's influence has been long-lasting in psychiatry, clinical psychology, as well as in literary and film interpretation.